AirPods in.
Waiting to start. Waiting.
Once again, you have reached Pay Dirt. I'm your host.
Whoa. Dirt.
Yo.
Today's Friday. Wrong show. Wrong imaging.
It's March Madness. I was getting excited. I thought we were going to do March Madness. Just cover, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to talk about March Madness, but I don't think that's what our overlord will want us to talk about.
Probably got to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, huh?
Yeah, probably got to talk about the Steelers. Yeah,
probably.
Is A-Rod back?
What's that?
Is A-Rod back?
Quarterback, schmorterback.
Yeah, who needs him?
Yeah, we got another wide receiver.
Let's go. Yeah.
All right. What do you think? Intro or no intro?
If I had to gamble on the ability of our backstage producer to kick off the intro, I would say we just go without it.
Go without it, and then it'll play once we get into a good flow.
You already know how. We already started that shot, so you know that's where we get it.
There it is. Oh, whoa, wait, what's that?
I don't know.
Who snuck in here? Oh,
whoa,
we going.
Whoa. Yep.
All right. If you're listening to us on, Amazon, Google, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, Tate is not with us, and he came in there for a split second, and then he gone. But he is producing from afar at a relative's wedding, so we appreciate him doing his hustle, getting his hustle on there. But subscribe, hit that thumbs up. We're gonna get into it. We got football to talk about. Pay
on the job training.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So, what we want to talk about?
You want to start with nope. I got it. I fixed it before you called me. Do you want to start with the basement and work our way up?
All right, Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's where the basement is. Hey, you know what? Cleveland goes out and addresses a big need. Can't be mad about what they're doing here in the offseason here, getting their frenzy on. What did they get here? Titus Howard from the Texans for a 5th rounder. Signed him to a 3-year, $63 million deal to play tackle. They got, let's see, Zion Johnson, guard from the Chargers. 3 years for $49.5 million. Tevin Jenkins, guard, re-signed. Elshon Jenkins, center from the Packers, 2 years, $24 million. And then linebacker Quincy Williams from the Jets, 2 for $13 million. So they definitely address that offensive line. Now, it wasn't the only holes they had in their offense. But what do you think about the Browns' free agency so far?
So far, the only move I really like is that they didn't re-sign Devin Bush. Now, that I like that move because it
who did?
Shame. Yeah. I wonder who. Shameless plug.
Chicago
sportsman.
It's the Indiana Bears did, correct? I believe so.
Okay. B, we're starting off on a bad foot.
We're already. Listen, what do you want me to do? My mom called me and said, "Hey, what's going on with you and Pay?" I said, "What do you mean? What's going on with me and Pay?" She's like, "I guess you and Pay have like have fallen out." I said, "Well, Pay got beef with me now?" She said, "I don't know. I was watching the show. They said you two can't be on the same show because you don't get along like that anymore." I was like, "No, that's the wrong guy. You're throwing stones at the wrong guy."
Yeah, wrong alphabet. We love Mama Dirt. We love Mama Dirt. What happened was why we, sidebar, why we wasn't on the show for a couple of weeks together. Tate is the divorced parent, and he only has visitation with one of us per week. And what we decided to do is we're going to get together on ourselves, by ourselves, and we're gonna leave Dad out of it. Dad's got some other
leave
stuff
him
to
at
handle.
home.
Yeah, but shameless plug. The Cleveland Browns did not re-sign Devin Bush, and he's coming to the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. You can check out all the Devin Bush news there. So they are down a linebacker. Doesn't matter because they are also down a defensive coordinator. So, in any case, I think their biggest offensive signing was the guard you mentioned, Elgton Jenkins. That's the one I liked, but I mean that's probably secondary news for the Browns this week. They had some stadium news that was pretty significant as well.
Did I miss it? I might have missed it.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure you probably heard. Well, I don't know. You're not that close to that part of Ohio, but it just to quickly talk about it. The Ohio whatever governing body that was actually handling business for the Browns and their stadium construction.
Mm-hmm.
They had promised, well, I think it was $2 billion to the project, and that they promised some money, and I know $2 billion of that money was coming from unclaimed money of residents from Ohio. If you pass and you leave some money in your bank account, or you haven't paid, you have some tax refunds that you haven't claimed, and such like that. $2 billion worth of which was supposed to go to the Cleveland Browns for their stadium. That has been challenged in the courts, and the injunction has been put up. So Cleveland does not have the money that they promised the Browns. Jimmy Haslam says, well, we might be able to cover that, but you all know Jimmy Haslam's cheap. He ain't gonna be able to cover that. So there is a significant roadblock to what's going on with their stadium. Just real quick override. I mean, it's a lot bigger than that, but I'm just gonna be quick about it. But that's pretty much what's going on with that. But yeah, back to free agency.
Yeah, I think they needed a little bit of a playmaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hannon was Harold Fannin had a very good rookie year, so they're not bringing Njoku back. But who else you got out there to really hang your hat on? I think Judy back.
Just a guy.
Just a guy. I mean, I think. I think that was the nail in the head with that assumption there. He's just a guy. But yeah, I wish they would have got somebody there. But they didn't need offensive line. They got some offensive line help, so not a terrible thing. Let's go. Secondly, I'll probably take one more step up the ladder here and go to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yay! The other Ohio squad.
Yeah. So the Cincinnati Bengals started off with a bang. So I was pretty excited, to be honest with you, when everything starts dropping. We get Brian Cook from the Kansas City Chiefs to shore up our safety. We went from one of the worst tackling safeties I've ever seen in Geo Stone to a guy who was in the top 5 tacklers in the league last year. 3 years, $40.25 million. Which Kobe Bryant signed for $40 million. Hour later, Cook signs for $40.25. Not that these athletes are petty or anything. I appreciate it. And then Boye Mafe from the Seattle Seahawks, 3 years, $60 million at edge. I like both those signings. Then it went a little quiet, and we limped over the line with the Jonathan Allen signing, which really kind of surprised with the Vikings owed him $8 million, and we still signed him for $14 million a year over 2 years, 28. So they did good for what they got. The problem is we had more than 3 holes. Pay. No diddy.
Is that possible? Can you have more than 3 holes?
Most definitely. Most definitely. We've been pierced and punctured a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot of holes there.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. I thought you were talking about some alien freakiness, but okay. All
right. So here we go. We got our first super chat. This was bound to happen. Super chat. I can't touch it. I can't put it up on the screen. All I can do is tell you about it.
Well, let's talk about it. Who's it from?
The Don Juan of the Matrix, Mr. Claude Bishop. He says, my 2 favorite Steelers haters are hosting tonight. All right, I'll take it.
Who are they? What show is he talking about?
I'll take it. I mean, your 3 favorite Steelers haters would probably be me, myself, and I. Like I'm all over it.
I don't know who hates the Steelers. I didn't know you hate the Steelers.
I don't like them, but whatever.
Okay. I mean, it's fair.
It takes more than one team to play football, though. So.
Yeah, true. I had a question for you, B-Dirt. You know, Stone, you called him one of the worst tackling safeties you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Did you all draft Gino?
No, sir.
You all got him in free agency, correct?
Correct, from the Ravens.
I kind of remember, this is back in the Yardcast. I kind of remember saying good riddance, but go on.
And we were blinded by the light of 7 interceptions the year before he became a Bengal. And then he ended up playing for the Bengals for 2 years and had 7 tackles. So, yeah.
If you were to give the Bengals free agency a grade up to this point, and I think his free agency is pretty much done right now, what would you mark it as?
An incomplete.
That's cheating. You're not playing a game.
I don't think they completed the actual assignment. I feel like they're just like, all right, we got some people. Let's go golfing. Now, I would probably say C-, D+. Good additions, not enough additions. So that's where I'm at with them.
All right. It was a chemistry test, and they started doing 2 + 2. Not the worst thing in the world, but hey, there's still the most important thing of free agency is the draft. In my opinion, the draft is where you make your bones, so to speak. And call back to what we were talking about behind backstage. Everybody loves a good Godfather reference. Okay, B.
Why don't we acknowledge the people over here in the live chat before we get going?
Yeah, we definitely should.
Christine, Go Black and Gold said, "Hey, Claude, am I in Bengal territory?" No, you're AFC North. Christine, we cover everybody AFC North here. It's kind of an AFC North Roundtable. Unfortunately, more fortunately, our Steelers partner here is at a wedding for family members. So, but we will cover the Steelers. And I will do so. I can't speak for pay. I will do so objectively because I do think the Steelers did a very good job so far this offseason. But
be objective. I'm the most objective one.
I said I didn't want to speak for you. That's all.
Right. Everyone knows. Everyone knows 2 things about me. 1, I'm objective, and 2, never cook.
All right, we got Steel Curtain Network over here. Probably making sure that we're staying in line. Know-it-alls. We got Claude Bishop in the house, of course. Mark Cunningham, Mr. Woodside, Howie 616, Mark Cunningham, Raul Havana. Very nice. I like that one. Tim Lyons, Jaime Carlo. What's up, Jaime? Mr. Woodside. Yeah, we got them. Reginald Rivers. There's some band of bandits there. PDP44, Vincent Bay. Payday, I don't know that fool. Yeah. Good cast of characters over here. Jar Devil was up in the building first, so we appreciate you guys.
Now that the interlude's out the way, do we want to leave the good state of Ohio and move little east. Should we go all the way east of Baltimore, or should we give people what they want? Let's talk Pittsburgh.
All right, let's talk Steelers, man.
All right. I know of two moves they made this week. One of which is very close to my heart. They signed the former Chicago Bear, Jaquan Brisker, to a 1 year, what was it, $5 million deal, not fully guaranteed. Hate to see him go, but I know he's going to show out for the black and gold community. B, do you have any thoughts on that signing?
I mean, he's coming home. This is a Western Pennsylvania kid coming back to play here, and I think gives them some help on that defensive side of the ball. I think I like it. I like a lot of their pickups, to be honest with you. But they addressed some defensive backfield. They started the whole thing with extending Cam Hayward and shuffling around some money for the cap. So that was a good, Omar Pittsburgh they do a really good job with that. They seem to restructure guys pretty frequently, unlike the Cincinnati Bengals, and do a good job with the cap manipulation. So then they signed Darnell Savage as well, 1 year from Washington. They re-signed Asante Samuel Jr., 1 year, $4 million. Jamal Dean, cornerback from the Tampa Bay Bucks, 3 years, $36.75. And then on offense, they got the signings of Michael Pittman, and that was just a pick swap. That was a nothing. 3 years for $59 million. And Kenneth Gainwell left. I believe he went to Arizona, maybe. And then Rico Dowdle. I always want to call him Dowdell.
Mm-hmm.
Rico Dowdle, 2 years, 12.5, which dirt cheap.
Rico or Michael Pittman, which offensive signing is the best for Pittsburgh?
I gotta see quarterback play. So I'll put an asterisk by this answer. But I think it's Pittman. I like Pittman. But they gotta be able to throw him the ball. I feel like this is a guy, if they have a Rodgers competent quarterback or better, it's Pittman. If they have worse, they may be leaning on that run game a little bit more.
So, speaking of quarterbacks, you led us there. I over under, because this is pay dirt. Even if we're not going to call it pay dirt, it's still pay dirt.
Gainwell at Tampa.
Who cares?
NFC. That's the important thing for the.
Yeah. Over under B, 90.5 days before Pittsburgh Steelers know who their quarterback is. The reason I set the line at 90 days, because that's when mandatory minicamp starts. And if you know a certain quarterback the way I know a certain quarterback, he ain't doing anything before he got to. So B, over or under?
Man, I'm going to take the over.
Ooh, spicy.
I'm going to tell you the reason why. Rodgers went on Pat McAfee's show this past week and talked about he was given no timeline. And he's in no rush. He's going to spend time with family and really mill it over and think it out. To me, he's already laying the groundwork to be like, I don't know.
He's laying the groundwork to do exactly like I said he will do. But I got called a hater.
So you just hey, Claude said they already know their quarterback. Claude, who is it?
Will Howard?
Let us know.
I would love to see that comment, Claude. Is Will Howard the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Because it ain't Kyler Murray. Segue. Kyler Murray signed today, and he's got a 1 year 1-year deal over there in Minnesota. So, do you think that Kyler Murray should have been the answer in Pittsburgh?
I mean, I like his fit with an offense that you normally see rollouts and movement and stuff like that. So I think he does fit in the offense that they're going to be running. Yeah, I think it would have been a great option for him. I mean, what did he end up league minimum? Because he's getting paid by them. Like, yeah, why wouldn't you do that? I think the upside and a possibility at a longevity or more years, I would have taken the flyer on it because I don't think the drop off from Aaron Rodgers at 42 or 43 years old to what Kyler Murray could do for you this year would be anything substantially worse as a floor to at least give it a shot to see what the ceiling is.
Okay. All right. I was curious. I think if they was actually serious in going in a new, I guess, direction or starting a new era, I think that would have been the better decision, or at least just giving the reins to Will Howard. But A Rod's got to play like Favre. He's got to dilly dally his way all through all season. But we shall see. Claude Bishop did respond in the chat. He said Aaron Rodgers is the guy. We will see when pen to paper happens, and they move in another direction. They move towards improving this year with his old friend as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm blanking on his name right now, but they used to coach him in Green Bay. All right. There's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do we need to talk about the biggest news, which comes from the last team of the division? I think so.
The Baltimore Ravens.
Now, last week, B, you wasn't here because it was my weekend with Dad Tate.
Are you talking about the John Simpson signing? Is that what you're talking about?
No.
What?
Last week, as we was preparing to get off.
Whoa, hey,
no Diddy. Pause. As we were preparing to close the show, breaking news: Max Crosby traded to the Baltimore Ravens. And then Tuesday
not so fast, my friend.
There we go. Not so fast. We all know what happened. The trade got rescinded. Baltimore says that they did not like what they saw in the physical. The Raiders say we are happy to have Max back, and we are just moving forward. And Baltimore eventually pivoted to Trey Henderson. But before we talk about Trey Henderson, your boy, I want to ask: do you think there was a little bit of shenanigans coming from Baltimore? Do you think they got cold feet, or were they legit in their assertion that the physical was poo-poo?
I mean, you knew what surgeries he had, the meniscus repaired and cleaning up there and everything. You knew he was on crutches 2 weeks before when you started the negotiation. Yeah, I mean, they knew what he was. They knew what he was going to, like, when you say he failed a physical or it became the physical brought up issues that they were unsure about. Yeah, what they were unsure about was giving up 2 first-round picks when they got everybody's reaction to that. That's what they were unsure about. And I wouldn't be surprised because we've seen this before in this league. There may have been a little collusion. There may have been a little calling up of friends and saying, what the hell are you doing giving up 2 first rounders? We're not going to do that for somebody like him. Like, blah, 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 blah. And then maybe it's like, oh, yeah, well, the physical. Yeah, I'm just saying, speculation. But yeah, I think it was too easy for them to get Trey instead when the Bengals walked away. And they got him for 0 draft picks instead of Max Crosby on the other side for 2 first rounders.
The way I see it with the Max Crosby thing, well, when you tear a meniscus, something like that, and I'm not sure what week he actually hurt himself. I think I've heard a lot of people assume that it was back in September. So he continued to play on that torn meniscus all season. We're talking about 3 months. That only does more to just damage the knee even further.
Mm-hmm.
So that is called stress reactions. So after they did the cleanup and seeing, what was going on, and they said the surgery was a success, but the
and
long
ahead
road,
of schedule.
That's what they said. And the Baltimore's surgeons, well, not surgeons, but team doctors and the independent team doctors they actually reached out to. They say, no, we don't like what we're seeing out of this. And to your point that maybe there's been collusion, I would say that when you're giving up 2 first-round picks and you already know that you already know that player that you're trying to acquire has been hurt. You get that already. But because I'm giving up 2 first-round picks, what I want to see from the physical, it needs to be really above reproach. Now, if I was giving up, let's say 2/3 instead of 2 firsts, I think Max Crosby will be there because even same difference with the physicals. You could have said that the physicals look like blah, 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 and in both situations. But because I'm giving him 2 firsts, I'm not allowing any type of situation where it seems that there's going to be an issue 3 years down the road.
Yeah, Tate's saying what I said. He said Baltimore used as an out after public callouts. Mark Cunningham says, I bet Ozzie Newsome called the organization, told him that's crazy. I don't know if it went that extreme, but I just think that they were caught up in the air, didn't know what to do with the ball. You know what I mean? And they had a way out to call a timeout and restart the whole play. And they did. That's what I think they did. Now, if you're saying the doctor said, there's some damage here, there's some scar tissue, of course there is. You already knew he played on that knee. You already knew what he did. You've seen that injury before. That's fairly common in the NFL. So they knew what that was. To me, I don't know. It's suspect.
Well, it could be. And I know what it looks like when after they pivoted so quickly to Trey Hendrickson, segue, it made it even look even more suspect, right? Because how do you sign someone to that type of deal so quickly after the other deal, a sister deal falls through? Now they came out and said, well, we were already talking to Trey Hendrickson in conjunction with Max Crosby after the deal was already made. That could be true. And when you look at the cap space they opened up by what do you call it? Renegotiating Lamar Jackson's deal.
Mm-hmm.
It makes, the math checks out, but it's fair for people to say that, yeah, I don't believe it. I think DaCosta and the rest of the Ravens organization, they're full of it. And you'd be right to call them out because they are the pull-out kings. Freaky Friday.
Hey, yo. Now, listen, you brought up something I wanted to touch on with the cap and restructuring the cap. The cap is what hurts the Raiders the most here. They thought they had got all this money off their books, and they went out and started signing people immediately. And now, whoops, here comes another $30 million on your cap. So that's I don't know, man. it's a weird spot. It's a weird spot to be in, and I kind of feel for the Raiders in that spot. Now, I still think that Max Crosby will get dealt, regardless of what he said on social media, that he's back, he's playing, don't believe what you're hearing. I think they're doing everything they can to try and united front to build his capital back up a little bit. They're never going to get 2 first rounders for him. I don't think they should have ever in the first place. I said as a Bengals fan, I would be willing to give up at most, you could probably push me into a 1 and a 3. And I don't think that's a good.
That's where I was at with it. 1 and 3.
And I don't think that's a good trade. I don't. I think maybe a 1 and a 5th or a 2nd and a 3rd would be a good trade. But I would give up a 1 and a 3 from the Cincinnati Bengals because I don't know if you've watched us pick up edge rushers over the last 3 years, but we've drafted 2 in the first round. We're not good at that. So let's go ahead and get somebody that's proven and give up that 10th pick. Who cares? Because whoever we take at the 10th pick right now, my track record says they're not going to be real impactful. We got to get in the top 5 to really do something with the picks.
Well, I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals have been in the top 5 before. They don't, as you said, they hit in the top 5 when it's offense.
Jamar and when it's offense, good call. If you look at their last first rounders that I would call hits whatsoever, T. Higgins was technically the first pick of the 2nd round. But him and Jamar, Sims, I even would say is a hit. I think he's where we drafted at that season. I think it was 21st maybe overall. He's been a very good right tackle for us at that point. So on the offensive side of the ball, we draft fairly well. On the defensive side of the ball, might as well draw names out of a hat.
So we talked about we kind of put 3 free agent moves into one conversation with the Baltimore Ravens. The failed trade, Trey Henderson and Lamar's restructuring of his contract. So where else were the Baltimore Ravens busy at this week? We've got, let me pull my notes.
Resigned Cheeto. While we talk about ex-Bengals, Cheeto Awuzie resigned 1 year for $5 million. And then John Simpson, the guard from the Jets, 3 years for $30 million. I don't know who else they signed there.
Was
they lost Linderbaum?
Yeah, Linderbaum was last week, but yeah. They had to start over at the center from that perspective, but not bad. So we got off the topic real fast there. Pittsburgh Steelers giving out grades. Where would you give them?
Oh man, I would get at least an A-, maybe an A. I'm teetering on that. I give them an A-. And the only reason why I give them an A-, not an AA+, is because quarterback's a little weird to me, right? You gotta that's such an important place. I would have, if they would have gotten some depth there and moved off of Mason Rudolph and brought in Kyler Murray or somebody else to compete, whoever, I would have been better. But I give them an A-. Well, Mr. Woodside here, B+, fees at B, A-, B+, I get with that.
Well, this is the 4th offseason in a row. They got an A for free agency. I'm just writing this down. Just okay. All right.
No. You're not using my grades if you're going for 4 seasons. I didn't say that the last three. This one is the one I said it about. They do. I think their front office does a fairly good job in the offseason. The problem I've had, and if you rewind the tapes over the past few years of the Homies, is we had some bloviating about how the offensive line was building a bully and doing all this other stuff. And I said, you're drafting that way, but taking rookies into the league and expect them to bully people, that doesn't happen very often. The Penei Sewells don't come around where they bully people their first year in the league very often. that normally comes with age. You know what I mean? Even Tyler Linderbaum, his first year in the league, he was good, not great, right? So a lot of those guys, it takes them get their, a year or so to get their sea legs, so to speak. So you can't rely too much on real young talent in certain positions.
I remember that phrase one summer, building a bully. I don't who was saying that. Was it Tate? I don't remember who was that. I don't remember where that came from.
I don't know.
One of those unsolved mysteries. Did you used to watch that show, Unsolved Mysteries?
I did. I like the I like the creepy like that music and stuff.
They sent chills. Yeah, that was real creepy music. Top 5 creepiest music of all time.
Yeah.
That and Freddie.
I like it. Listen, before we go off on a tangent here and talk about kind of overall, I'd like to rank who you thought was best and worst in our division here as far as free agency so far. There may be a couple stragglers trickle in here, but most of the good stuff got eaten up pretty quick. So we'll do that, and then I want to talk about some of the things around the league just in general. If we got some time to do that now. There's less bloviating here, and there's been less stories about Lima in the 1990s. So
we love the old man stories, though.
What? Oh, dude, he's living it up right now. He's in his heyday. He is in his heyday. He's with all his old heads. I mean, man, Tate is in all his glory right now, talking about the old days. Glory days. But before we do that, before we get into some of the rest of the league, we need to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. Normally, we put up a nice little banner for those of you on YouTube so you don't have to look at our ugly mugs. I got no control over that, so you're probably just going to watch me drink water. We'll be right back after these messages. Hey, welcome back to the Homies on a Friday night. Freaky Friday. Oh, wait, we got a disclosure agreement here. The views and opinions expressed during this show are those of the speakers and hosts and not necessarily represent the views of the know-it-alls. Any opinions expressed are solely their own and do not express the views or opinions of the know-it-all team. All information is for informational purpose only. Yeah, so basically, you're getting good information tonight from me and Pay, not the regular BS you get from the rest of the know-it-alls crew. Got it. Mr. Woodside said, LOL, B-Dirt throwing solid body punches. What was that? You're going to laugh track down. You're going to laugh track down. You do. No. Mod must. Nope. I hear Val in the background. Is that Val? No. I don't know who it is. Somebody back there hitting laugh tracks. But all right, let's give her rankings, man. I want you to who was worst worst free agency so far in the AFC North. This is tough.
Can I? I mean, this is tough, and I don't want to just bash the Browns just for being the Browns, but I don't think they've done much as far as like a banner signing or anything like that. And like I said, the biggest thing they did was they lost Devin Bush, who was a Pro Bowler last year, right? So I think it's the fairest thing to say is that they will be coming in last.
Man, I can make an argument for 3 different teams coming in last.
Yeah, I could too, but I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it because I'm being objective today.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna say it's the Ravens. I think Linderbaum is a big loss, and Simpson's just an sign to me. So then the whole rest of the wagon is hooked to Trey Hendrickson. Now, here's what
big wagon.
I mean, it is a big wagon, but Trey's getting ready to turn 32. Coming off of a surgery himself. Neck surgery at that. But the one thing I will tell you that gets my petty hackles up a little bit here. He signed the exact same deal that I said he should sign. And a little bit less in overall money than what the Bengals had reportedly offered him. And he didn't sign it because he wanted more than half of the money guaranteed. And he got exactly half of the possible money guaranteed. The deal's 4 for 112 with bonuses up to 120 total and 60 of it guaranteed. So I'll give you a little bit there. Oh yeah, Claude Bishop. They lost Likely as well. I agree.
It's not a big loss. Let me counter. Let me counter to that. Let me counter. So yes, Trey Henderson is a step below from getting Max Crosby. Awesome. Yeah, you know it. I know it. Everyone else knows it. However, they did address a weakness. They had a big weakness coming in from last season is attacking the quarterback, rushing the quarterback. They were very towards the bottom in total pressures. You bring in Trey Henderson. Obviously, you're assuming he'll be healthy. You're assuming he can still play at the level that he was when he was leading the league in sacks. All of his assumptions, right? But they did address a need. Going on to the Linderbaum and Likely, going on to the Linderbaum and Likely stuff.
One need.
You can only do so much, right? Especially when you're trying to do big game hunting. They went for Max Crosby. That's big game hunting. And they got Trey Henderson, big game hunting. Now, about the Linderbaum and Likely and some other players that they lost. Can anyone name me the player that the Ravens let walk away and they were worth their weight somewhere else? Meaning, if the Ravens let you go, they probably already got the best out of you already.
You think they're the modern day Patriots?
I mean,
they walk away from the player before the player falls off the cliff.
I think that is what you want to do in this game, right? I mean, Bill Belichick did it best. Bill Belichick knows how to get them young before they get old.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, I set that up perfectly. So, I mean, with the Ravens, I can see the argument for them coming in last just because they lost a couple of free agencies. But Isaiah Likely, the road rather, was paved in gold for him to take over from Mark Andrews. And what they do, they extended Mark Andrews because Isaiah Likely was never doing it. He was never just taking that next step. He was hurt. He was messing up when he was in the game. Sorry, those are the breaks. And they still had to play a very expensive quarterback. They still got to play a very expensive running back. They got to pay an expensive pass rusher now. And Cal Hamilton's coming up for a payday sometime soon too. Matabuke not far behind him. They got to do some things. I'm sorry, Tyler Linderbaum, you didn't make the cut. So, well, you say Ravens, I say Browns.
All right, who you got third?
This is where I'm going to put the Pittsburgh Steelers at 3.
Wow.
I'm going to put the Steelers at 3. One, they've made a lot of moves. I like some of the additions they made. Some of the losses they've had have been not dire, but when I feel like I'm going to grade them very harshly for not going to get that quarterback. They were franchise quarterbacks out there. Maybe I'm using the word franchise a little too heavy, but there were quarterbacks out there that they could have done a lot better with than to wait on the quarterback they're actually waiting on. Tua was out there. Now, I'm not saying Tua was a franchise quarterback. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that about Tua or anything else like that. But I would rather go 7 wins with Tua, 7 wins with Kyler, 7 wins with, fill in the blank, Kirk Rodgers, than to go 8, 9 wins with Aaron Rodgers. Kirk Cousins, I'm sorry. I'd rather get 7 wins with all those
Kirk's still
quarterbacks.
out there.
Exactly. I would rather do 7 wins with them than to do another 8-9 win season with Aaron Rodgers. Reason because you keep kicking that can down the road. Eventually, you just got to stop. Put Will Howard in the driver's seat. See what you got out of him. Now, I do like Rico Dowdle. I do like getting Mike Pittman. I do like getting Jaquan Brisker. I think those guys are every bit worth it, and they got them on very cheap deals. But this game is built on the back of a quarterback, and you're expecting a 40. What he's going to be 42 this year? You expecting a 42-year-old to lead you anywhere? It's not going to happen.
Man, I don't know if you made any good points, but you definitely made the chat light up. I mean, I'm going to say that the chat doesn't 100% agree with you. And I don't either.
That happens.
At 3, I actually, it's funny that you've got 4 and 3 are going to be my top 2. At 3, I'm going to put the Bengals. Like I said, they probably got their best option that they could have for me at safety. I'm happy with Brian Cook. But Boye Mafe, the production hasn't quite been there, and it wasn't it's a pretty good signing. I don't know if it's great. I'm hoping it's better than I think it is. And then Allen, to me, they overpaid for, and a guy that's a little long in the tooth, 31 years old, but I think he's solid, a solid piece for him, but nothing to write home about. So, and quite frankly, they could have used another player at cornerback. Not getting a linebacker in there when the linebackers were going for somewhere between 6 to 12 million from the third tier to the first tier guys. Not getting any of those guys right now, it is just it's blasphemy for them. It's just a complete neglect of your football team. There's a glaring weakness. You had 2 rookies starting, and you obviously needed some leadership there, somebody to come in and solidify that. And it wouldn't have taken much. So I don't think they did enough. Re-signed Jalen Davis, re-signed Reisner for 1 year, Dalton Reisner guard. I like that, but yeah, I put the Bengals at 3. So who do you have at the second best free agency in the AFC North?
Am I cheating if I say I had the last 2 teams tied at 2?
You got no one to first position? Of course.
I don't think anybody. I don't think you should be labeling anybody as number 1 from everything that's done from this division. I think there's been some good moves, but saying 1, I think that's a little bit far. So I'll ask again: is it cheating if I say both my last 2 teams are still at 2?
Yeah, it's definitely cheating. You got to pick a winner.
Oh, all right. I'm cheating. I'm a Balco. I'm a Balco guy in the 90s. I cheat.
You're giving a tie to the Ravens and the Bengals?
I am. 1, as I already mentioned, with the Ravens. In fact, I'll just say the Ravens are 2. I'll just do it like that. Ravens are 2. They did lose a guy that is a centerpiece.
Christine
to their
said the Ravens
line.
lost 7 starters. I don't know if that's the correct number or not.
I think it's 4 starters. I think they lost the players, but I think only 4 of them are actually legit starters. But none of them are the starters that you need, other than Linderbaum. Linderbaum, I'm not going to shit on him, but their center is the second most important place to your offensive line. Mm-hmm. Then losing him is going to take some time. Now, I'll remind you, 2 off seasons ago, the Ravens came into the offseason with a terrible offensive line. I think they had replaced 4/5 of that start of the offensive line, if I'm not mistaken. That was 2 years ago. Next thing you know, They got the best offensive line in the game. Not talking about last season because everybody was hurt, but 2 seasons ago, they had the best offensive line in the game after replacing everybody in one off season. They've done it before. They know how to flip this thing on a head, in one off season. I until they prove me wrong, I'm going to assume that they have a plan to just bring somebody up and build from within, the old fashioned football way. And I'm gonna say it one more time. The biggest signing in the division was the flip from Cincinnati to Baltimore and Trey Henderson. I give him 2.
All right. The Bengals defense 2 years ago was horrific with Trey Hendrickson having 17 and a half sacks. He barely played last year. Didn't even notice. Same horrific defense, so whatever. It wasn't going to make that big of a difference to us, I don't think. I was over the shenanigans. All right, at 2, I'm going to put the Cleveland Browns. I put them above the Bengals because of the amount of pieces that they put into places they needed depth there. They don't know if they're going to get a linebacker back from injury, and they definitely had a pretty bad offensive line and needed to start making some changes there, and they addressed it, and they went after it. 4 offensive linemen, 1 re-signed and 3 acquired. Claude Bishop, thank you for the super chase. Said, Pay, you have never been this bad, and to be honest, I'm a little disappointed in you, young man. Please do better the next show, Pay.
Wow. That's hard. That's harsh.
Of all the days for Tate not to be here, I literally would go from like splitting 50-50 time on this show to just eating popcorn and watching. I could just watch you and Tate go back and forth after you burnt the Steelers there. All right, so you have the Bengals at 1 then?
There you go.
Why? You gotta tell me why.
Listen, their defense was improved last season. Statistically, the defense took a step in the right direction last season.
The second half of the season.
Yes.
And it was mostly because their corners started doing better. And Miles Murphy started playing a little bit better.
Now, what helps the cornerbacks out even better?
Pass rush.
What were the biggest moves the Steelers made this offseason?
In the defensive backfield.
They also added to their pass rush.
The Bengals. You said the Steelers. I'm sorry.
Did I say Steelers? I'm sorry. I meant Bengals. So the Bengals added to that pass rush. I am projecting that the Cincinnati Bengals actually have a focused defensive approach this year, and they put it all together. That is my early 2026 projection. This Cincinnati Bengals defense will be better and not the also-rans that we've seen the last 2-3 years. Put it on the board.
Now, I'll tell you what I like about the Mafe pickup is the Bengals have had this stereotypical, this is who we draft at edge. We like guys that are around 275 to 295 that set the edge and kind of power pass rush. He's more athletic than what they've been, 6'4", 260, sleek, fast. So that gives me some hope that they're going to be doing a little more dynamic things on defense. That said, like I said, I like the guys, but there's still too many glaring holes, and the depth is just not there. The depth's just not there. If we have 1 or 2 injuries, which pretty much everybody does, sunken ship again. So I'm still, and listen, maybe it's because, if you keep beating the dog with the broom, eventually he doesn't like the broom. So maybe it's just part of being a Bengals fan for me. I'm not sure.
Once bitten, twice shy. I'm not going to blame you for it.
Yeah. But hey, man, I got the Steelers first. I don't know. I feel like they've got the most names on the list. Here I've got the list of everybody that was acquired and re-signed, and on those, I think they have the most talent accumulatively. I'm not going to argue with you that Trey Hendrickson's the biggest splash, but when you have 8 people jump in the pool at the same time, they make a bigger splash. I think Rico Dowdle is a good pickup. I think Michael Pittman's a good pickup. I think Jamal Dean is a good pickup. I think Brisker is a very good pickup. I think Savage was a fairly good pickup. I like re-signing Asante Samuel Jr. Like I feel like the Steelers.
Did he play last year?
He did. He came in partway through the year and he played fairly well. Not great, but I mean, when you're learning the system in the middle of the fly, I thought he did okay. And I think those guys, like, I think they picked up starter. I think they're positive in starters as far as who they lost and who they gained. The Ravens are upside down. The Browns and the Bengals are probably about even. So I think the Steelers had the best offseason so far to the AFC North. But you're right, Pay. The draft is king, man. That's gonna really make not just this year, but also future years for these teams in the AFC North as well.
That's where you build a bully at.
Building that bully. All right. So what else did you see in the league that you real quick, as we got a few more minutes left, what else did you see out there that you loved or hated in the league, man, as far as what teams are doing or what major pickups or whatever it is? Shout out to Claude Bishop for giving me the game ball.
I hate what they did to your boy.
Oh,
9.
Oh, bringing in listen, some of the memes, by the way, of poor Kyler Murray coming to the Vikings. Listen, man, he's battled injury for 2 straight years and has been way too up and down when he's been out there. It's too streaky. So I don't fault them for trying to get a quarterback battle and trying to, I really feel like they're going to give it to the best player and let him have a chance to run with it, but he's got to earn it. He's got to earn it. But I get what you're saying. But yeah, Minnesota Vikings bring Kyler Murray in and JJ McCarthy's still there.
JJ's not beating him out.
Yeah, it'll be tough.
No, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been up and down. The rumors were there pretty early. They were saying they need to bring him along slowly, bring in Aaron Rodgers a year ago because he's not there with those high points from the training camp when they were giving out, what do you call it, highlights and him having good plays. That was against third string defense. They protected him as much as they could.
First game when he went like bonkers in the fourth quarter, that was against the Bears.
In one quarter. Then he reverted.
But he reverted, and then he came back and had a couple of good games. He won like 3 in a row. Then he got hurt again with the ankle. Yeah, go back and look at it, man.
No. They won 5 games in a row to end the season. But when he came back from his initial injury, they won. They beat the Lions 1 game, and then they lost. Then it's just terrible. It was just all up and down. I don't think. 1, I just don't think he's a good quarterback right now. And 2, he's not beating out Kyler Murray whatsoever.
Yeah, it'll be tough for him for sure. I don't see it happening myself, but listen, since we're talking about kind of some negative things here, I'm gonna tell you, I watched this happen last year. I talked to you about it on Pay Dirt. Man, everybody was drinking the Kool-Aids when the Colts start 8-0. Oh, Danny Dimes is back. He's got a resurgence. He's out of New York. He blah, blah, blah. No, he's Danny Dimes. He had a couple of big games, and then he became the guy we all know and love. And what'd you do? This is a second hoodwink contract this guy's gotten. What the hell's going on? The NFL got to wake up. 44 million over a year for 2 years. 88 possible bonus up to $100 million for 2 years. Who the hell keeps giving Danny Dimes over $40 million? Stop it. Stop it. What is wrong with you guys? You just burn your cash. Crazy.
We are living in a matrix, B-Dirt. In this reality, Danny Dimes is a $100 million quarterback, while Kyler Murray and Tua and some of the other guys out there, they are filling out job applications. It is a weird situation, almost as weird as having a Friday the 13th in consecutive months. What's up with that?
Yeah, 28 days in February. It is what it is. Listen, get that comment off here. We already read that. Shoo comment. Shoo. Yeah, our illustrious producer coming in late on that one. But yeah, so that was one. Listen, I like some things the Bills are doing. I'm sorry about DJ Moore. I think you getting a second rounder for him, is a fair trade. But I think he's going to help the Bills out, and we to be determined on who you get for that second rounder. I like them signing Bradley Chubb. I like some things they're doing. I like some things the Titans are doing. I like they got 2 corners, even though I think they overpaid for one. And they got Wan'Dale Robinson, which I like. He's a good number 2, I think, in my mind. And they also probably got the best drip this season.
They're going to be the best looking 6-win team you've ever seen.
Oh, wow. It's like a throwback kind of ode to the Oilers in color way. And then pulling that Titans logo into it. It's kind of it's probably my favorite. And listen, I know this one's going to be a little bit biased, but it's my favorite since they did the white Tiger Bengals whiteout game. I like their uniforms. And the Titans uniforms are better than that white Tiger. Just flatly better. Good colorway and a really nice scheme. Anything else you want to cover before we get on out of here for the people?
The Rams. We did say that the draft's where you make your bones. The Rams, they say no. Their draft is not where you do anything.
Yeah, they're swinging a big hammer this year. They're going for it before Stafford retires. That's the writing is right there on the wall. If you don't see it, you're not looking. And you know what? Kudos. Guess where the Super Bowl is going to be played this year? Back at SoFi.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? While we did go out west, real quick. Mike Evans, maybe a future Hall of Famer. The yearly hurt Mike Evans going to play for the San Francisco 49ers. I think that's a match made in heaven. Not because I think they can use him, but because the team that's always got IR players gets another one. I love it for them. All right, that's it for me.
That's a good one. And listen, Seattle did a great job while we're out there in the West Coast. Seattle's done a great job putting this team together. Great coaching, great defense, solid offensive play. Yo, guys, you can't let everybody go. Like, you got to hold on to some of the players. Like, they haven't done nothing.
Well, this is how I make the show longer. They're up for sale. And what does the new owner say? Potential new owner say? Cut salary. We see it all the time.
Nah, not me. I gotta win. All right. Tell the people where they can catch you at. We have officially at Running Through the Jungle hit spring break. So you're gonna catch us after Easter, except for some shorts here or there that will come up and say something, probably bitching about the Bengals and talking about some other things going on.
At Frustrated Chicago, there is no spring break. I put these boys to work.
No days off. No days off.
Exactly. I'm not paying for that. Get out of here. Frustrated Chicago, there's something always dropping. Shorts, lives, videos, 6 days out the week. Check it out.
All right. Well, with that, I mean, that's a wrap. Unless our beloved producer is not paying attention, that's a wrap for us. Pay, you gonna take us out? You got anybody to arrest?
Arrest Aaron Rodgers.
Ruh-roh.
Can I get a shirt? In that have you seen the intro? Can I get a shirt, man? That's what I'm looking for.
How about it? Better you than me, shirtless on the intro. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Friday night. Yeah. Yeah. You rolling with the homies. Sports talk with a twist. We keep it real only. Ain't talking that baloney. We speaking the facts. Sports news going on. We talking about that. Tape, pay, and dirt. We gon' bring the noise. Friday nights are better when you hang with the boys. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Cause it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
You gonna learn. Oh yeah, you gonna learn.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
You need anything at all, I drop it off for y'all if my homies call.